Hello and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. This time we're looking at the new additions to the FanFest editions, that is, of the Final Fantasy XIV online store in your various regions. Firstly, we're looking at the Great British Pounds. The new items then, as you already knew were going to happen, include the Lunar Whale mount, the Edge, Rydia and Rosa minions, along with the piano and normal version of the Saints and Scions and Sinners, rather, not Saints and Sinners, Scions and Sinners music scrolls, as well as the Pulse Orchestrion set. They're on screen for you now. We're going to go into the game and look at all of these items in just a second, but let's talk about the prices. First of all, the mount came as a bit of a shock to everybody. Everybody sort of speculated the price to be much greater than this, including myself. I expected this mount to be upwards anywhere near £50 Great British, but it turns out that usually it will be £28 after FanFest ends, but for this FanFest weekend it's down to £23.80, which is fairly decent. We'll move on to the other regions in just a moment. The minions themselves, including Edge, Rydia and Rosa, will cost you £4.24 for the weekend. That will go up to £4.99 after the weekend. And then we have the music scrolls themselves, which are actually sets of music scrolls. They're not just one music scroll. Those are £7.34 each. There are 3 sets of those. They're usually £8.63. And as you can see, if we click on one of them, it comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It comes with 5 music scrolls per one, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's the same for the Pulse one as well. 3, 4, 5, yeah. So each one of those has 5 in it, so you get 5, 10, 15 scrolls altogether, but you get 5 per £7.34 if you like that music. Of course, this is all optional extra. Let's switch this up then to United States dollars. A lot of people will want to know that. So the Lunar Whale comes in at $35.70. That will go up to $42 after the weekend. The minions are $5.94 each, ordinarily $6.99. And then the music is $12.75 or for those packs of 5, usually up to $15. And then let's have a look finally at the Europe euros. So 28 euros 5 cents for the Lunar Whale, up to 33 euros normally, 5 euros 9 for the minions, up to 5.99 in the week and beyond. And then the music scrolls, for a set of 5 you get €8.93, which is usually €10.50 for those packs of 5. Anyway, so there are the prices. Personally, I think this is a lot cheaper than it was going to be. You might be wondering, why would I spend $35 on a mount? Well, it's an 8-player account-wide mount. I don't really think you need me to explain why that's the sort of price figure it is, but that's a lot cheaper than we expected. If you do a price per person on a mount, then it works out way over $50 ordinarily, something about that. So yeah, that's a fairly reasonable price and a lot lower than a lot of us were expecting, and is account wide. So let's move straight into the game and actually have a look at all of these items where they're actually represented properly. All right, here we are inside the game, and I thought we'd, work on the big one first. Let's look at the big whale in the room, so to speak, not necessarily the elephant in the room. What an enormous mount this is. Now, a lot of people are wondering how big this really is. Well, we'll have some size comparisons in just a moment, but let's listen to that ambient rumble there from the mount. That almost etheric, isn't it? Very cool. So if you've played Final Fantasy IV, you'll probably figure out what the Lunar Whale is. If you've not played Final Fantasy IV, you need to seriously fix that at some point. It's a fantastic game. The Lunar Whale then is a reference to that game, and is one of the ways that you can get to the moon. This then basically puts you inside the whale, as far as I can tell. And yes, this is an 8-player mount, as you can tell. So you've got room for 8 people inside the whale, which is kind of hilarious, really. I don't actually have anyone around at the moment to demonstrate. Alright then, it turns out I did actually have some people show up. So here we go, here's a good demonstration of what it looks like to have, what have we got here? We got 5 whales in a line. It looks pretty good. This is quite a lot of in real life money in one go. I'm sure there's lots of people that will take pictures today of whales in lines, especially in Mordona. I saw some on Reddit already, but this is what they look like all together, which is just phenomenal, isn't it? I did say prior to this, when it was first announced, that we were going to fill the skies full of whales, and certainly have not disappointed at all. I do like this model. I think it's really, really quite fantastic. And it does actually have some meaning. It's not just a random mount. It's very heavily, set in the lore of going to the moon and Final Fantasy IV. I am a real big fan of this, personally. You might not be. You might think this is a little bit weird. But one thing you can say is that this really isn't that immersion breaking. I see that's one of the bigger complaints that people have had about mounts in history. But as you will find out when we read the mount text, this is actually quite in keeping and kind of cool, actually. I know a few people will say, oh no, Meoni, how can you like that? That's such an ugly mount. I don't know. Maybe it's because I just like whales and the idea of going to space intrigues me. But yeah, thank you so much to all of the people that came out to actually demonstrate what it looks like to have, potentially a sky full of whales. Just do a shout out. I don't usually do this. You got Franbo over here, my in real life partner. We got Parabella over here, wonderful supporter of the channel. We got Vix over here, another wonderful friend of ours, and Demon on the end there, Arakusu Takahashi. And yeah, very cool. Nice whales. Let's do some other size comparisons then whilst we're here. I think, yeah, that would be the good idea to do. So we thought this would be a great actual size comparison as well. We've got Fran over here on the OG whale. You remember this one? The one that should have been more than just 2-seater, that we all said should be a 4-seater? Well, yeah, I still have that opinion personally. But as you can see, the Lunar Whale is actually shorter. It's actually a lot smaller. So even more begs the question of why is the normal whale not an 8-player mount? But there we go. Or at least a 4-player mount. There's 4 suitcases you could sit on there, technically, isn't there? But yeah, that's the way it is. I thought this was a great size comparison. Thank you to Fran for the idea. But yeah, it is quite a bit longer, isn't it, than the Lunar Whale? In terms of depth, it's pretty much short on that one as well. No, it's actually about equal. Probably a little bit further, look, because of all of the undercarriage rockets and stuff jutting out. It's very weird to see these two side by side. One is obviously a mechanical whale, and the other one a fleshy whale, but there we go. There's only one thing else I want to show off before we read its text, as to how you actually mount into this, so we'll get to that as well. Okay, so like I said, we're going to demonstrate how we get aboard this. So Fran is a whale, but you'll notice that her character is to one side, a nameplate. That's because it mounts you in one of the 8 slots there. So imagine that these circles are actually the slots where a character fits into, as well as rockety things. But simply right-click or interact with your controller with square, and simply go... well, first of all, they have to be in a party, don't they? Derp. I completely forgot about that. And then we can go ride pillion, and then we have 7 seats to choose from. Now, if we choose number 1, then that puts us to the right of the driver. If we actually then choose, I don't know, mount number 2, then we're behind the driver, and it basically alternates like that in the back. But you are basically inside the whale, inside of it together. But this is going to be great for, treasure maps and such, other sorts of content in the game. I don't think it really has like a you need to get this mount sort of vibe to it, being an optional extra. I would love to see an 8-player mount in the game at some point, obtained from achievements or such. But at the moment, this is the only 8-player mount available in the game, and that's from the cash shop. So we'll have to wait and see. But thank you for Fran for helping me demonstrate that. One thing that we need to really pay attention to then is that there is a special piece of music for this, but we'll get to that in just a second. It says, summon forth the Lunar Whale, which is definitely not an actual whale, but certainly large enough to warrant the name. Seats up to 8 people, including the pilot. So that's 7 others, including yourself. Produced by Garland Ironworks, based on mysterious tales from a distant land, it not only resembles a whale on the outside, but shares its voluminous belly. With enough room for the pilot and 7 passengers, it stands, or rather floats, in a class of its own. And the hidden text says, "She is risen! The promised ship of light! The Lunar Whale!" A man known simply as Elder, and that's obviously a reference from Final Fantasy IV. How epic is that? So there is music associated with this. Let's hope we don't get a copyright strike as we turn the music on. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this theme, this is actually the Lunar Whale theme from Final Fantasy IV with a massive, redo. Look at that as it takes off, with the jets springing to life there. I'll let you enjoy this for a second. Very cool, isn't it? Very, very cool indeed. I love the choir singing on there as well. But yeah, this is the Lunar Whale theme, but just brought up to date for Final Fantasy XIV. Of course, being a whale, it is obviously all-terrain. This is what it looks like under the sea, so to speak. Looks pretty cool. So yeah, whilst it's on land, those jets don't fire anymore. They're just for obviously propulsion in the air. Look, there we go. And then they turn down a little bit. But what a cool looking mount. A lot of people might be wondering, you know, where they're going to go with mounts in the next expansion. This is a good bet that you're going to see some very interesting designs going forward. And this is one of many. Hopefully we get more stuff in the game and not just on the cash shop. But yeah, I especially love the sort of like particle effects that are floating off this as well. I think that's a really nice touch. But yeah, that's pretty much the Lunar Whale. Very hype for that. Very hype indeed. Right then. Shall we move on to some other things? I think so. Goodness sake, my mailbox has never been so full. So each individually, I've picked up all of these. I am a massive, shill when it comes to purchasing things from a market, from the in real life marketplace known as real money cash shops, especially in this game. And we've got the minions, so let's have a look at those as well. Of course, they come in the form of Rydia, Edge, and Rosa. And we looked at the prices of those before, so let's learn those. And we'll have a quick look at what those actually do as well. I thought I'd just do this live, might as well. I thought I'd put it into one video. Some people don't like it when I do individual videos, so it is what it is at the end of the day, so we're just doing it as one. So first of all, we have Edge. It says, summon forth your wind-up Edge minion, based on one of the few people who had the chance to be a prince and a ninja, which seems like too much fun to squeeze into one lifetime. Fantastic. Legends tell of Edward Geraldine, the ninja prince who assumed the name Edge, presumably because it sounded more impressive. Rumors have it that Edward was already taken by another figure in a tale, and there cannot be two people sharing the same name. It just gets confusing. The hidden text says, you think our rage a weakness? Then let me show you how wrong you are. A quote there of Edge. Edge then, we've got the Mammutier title on so we can, trigger his emotes as well. This is what Edge looks like when you first summon him. as you can see in the background, there's Meoni spamming that. But yeah, not too bad in terms of pixelation. There's very little. It is a little bit lower res than I would have hoped for, but one thing that they have nailed this time around is the hair. A lot of the time on these models, especially minion models, they don't know how to do the hair very well. The details are quite nice considering how small this minion actually is, you know, in comparison to a lot of the others that we have. But yeah, very cool indeed. I do like this one. And with a Mamatea Pet Collection title on it, obviously we can make him hand over to feed from our hand with a handover emote. We can also do, I believe it's a poke. There we go, there's the poke. And if we poke him, he does, well, whatever that's supposed to be. What is that emote? He's like, rah! He's unleashing his rage, that's what it is. Yes, absolutely. Very cool. Let's move on to the next one then, whilst we're here. Again, all done live, not really that much editing. I didn't think there was much point. Let's look at Rydia then. Rydia says, summon forth your wind-up Rydia minion, not to be confused with a sprig of broccoli. That's actually a genius. Dear. According to myth, Rydia went missing as a child, only to re-emerge a short while later as a woman grown. How she later become to be immortalized as a miniaturized mammoth is unclear, though her voluminous bright green hair is said to be very true to life. And the hidden text for that one says, that was a awfully fast recovery, a quote there of Rydia. Let's resummon her again, because otherwise she'll be straight into that animation. Let's get rid of my character for a second. There we go. This one's absolutely adorable, isn't it? Actually, I think this has got slightly better quality, I think, at least, than Edge. I could be wrong, but look at that. That is a really lovely model. And if you've ever played Final Fantasy IV, then you are going to be squeeing in delight at how cool these minions are. I'm really, really happy to have these in the game. I would love, you know, in an ideal world, to have minions of every single protagonist from every Final Fantasy game in the game. I think that's the long goal for minions. What a wonderful minion. And of course, with the Mamatea Pet Collection title on, we can make her feed from our hand with our hand over emote. Is it a poke for you as well? It certainly is. Oh, you do a pirouette little dancey thing. That's adorable. Look at that. What is she doing there? Whee! Dong. It's like she's getting ready to throw something. I'm not sure what that action is. Maybe someone can tell me in the comment section. I'm drawing a blank here. But that's really nice as well. I do like the feathers in the hair as well. And I like things that are green at the end of the day. And then there's obviously one more minion to look at. And that's Rosa. And that's, you know, where's Rosa? There she is. There she is. Looking pretty as usual. It says, summon forth your wind-up Rosa minion based on the central corner of a one-sided love triangle, if such a thing is possible. It says, Rosa is said to have been blessed with both powerful healing abilities and an unerring bow arm. Unfortunately, these were little use on the occasion that she came close to being either sliced by a guillotine or crushed by an iron ball, depending on which version of the tale one hears. Another reference to 4 there. The hidden text says, please, Cecil, be alive. A quote there of Rosa. Oof. Definitely an oof moment. I wonder if we'll see our universe's versions of these characters, or if that's not going to be the case. I don't know. Do you reckon we'll see a Rosa, an Edge, and a Rydia in our game as actual characters? This is absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. This is a great minion model. Wow. Again, same sort of pixelation on the eyes and some details, but that's really hard to get away from, I suppose, when you try to make a miniature of a character of this size. I think they've really based these models off of the DS remake of Final Fantasy IV more than the original. But very nice. I love the little tiara on the top there. The details are really nice on these, aren't they? Especially like this. I wish we could get this cape design, actually, for our Final Fantasy XIV characters. That is a really nice cape. Very nice indeed. And we, of course, have the Mamatea Pet Collection title on. So let's feed her with a handover. And I believe, is it a poke for you as well? It certainly is. Ooh, is that a prayer? That certainly looks like a prayer. Oh yeah, look at that. That's really cool, actually, with the wind bellowing. Very nice. Very nice attention to detail. I'm always blown away by all of these goodies. And the previous FanFest ones with Yuna and Co was, and Riku was just, and Lulu were fantastic as well. So this is a really nice addition to my collection. I will really, really enjoy summoning these and looking at them and playing around with them. Probably not playing Lord of the Minion because I can't stand the thing. But there we go. There you go. There's the minions. Now, I do also have the Orchestron rolls, and I would love nothing more than to share these with you. The only problem is, chat, if I did, I would definitely get a copyright strike on one of these pieces of music. So, as part of the Pulse Orchestron roll, if you've got the Pulse album, you get the Rise, you get Through the Maelstrom, which I think a lot of people would want. That's like the Amarot sort of underwater theme. We've got Neath Dark Waters. We've got What Angel Wakes Me, which is Titania, which is one of my favorite tracks in the entirety of the game, and definitely the remix on the Pulse album it's my favorite track. It's really, really good. I can't wait to put that on an orchestra, actually. And Sunrise as well. So that's the Pulse album. Then we have the band version of Scions of Sinners. We've got Equilibrium. We got What Angel Wakes Me, which is the band version. We got Shadowbringers. We got Blinding Indigo, and we got Insatiable as well. Great tracks. And then if you purchase the Scions and Sinners piano version, then you have Invincible, Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which I know is one of my favorites as well. Return to Oblivion, What Angel Wakes Me, the piano version, and A Long Fall, another great track. But I would love nothing more than to share those with you, but all I can give you is track lists, unfortunately. But hopefully you found that helpful as an insight. I know some people really enjoy when I go in the game to actually show these things off, and it gives, obviously credit to people without actually needing to purchase the items themselves. They can see if they're worthwhile their time and money. But yeah, I'm a big collector of these things, and I have a passion for that. So that's why I get them as well. But yes, the Lunar Whale is probably my pick of the bunch in a big, big way. I would highly recommend this. It's a lot cheaper than I expected it to be. But yes, let me know what your favorite item is, or if you hate all of these items, let me know in the comment section. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think about these things. Are you hyped for FanFest itself? I know I am. For more coverage of the entirety of FanFest, all of the information we get from a keynote, the live letter, and some of the panels, stay tuned on this channel and make sure you're subbed to make sure that goes into your subscriber box. Much love. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy FanFest, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.